Hello, friends. Welcome to Wild West Wednesday. I need a haircut. But yes, it is another Wednesday. It's time for another Wild West Wednesday. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, A Maple Mystery and Electric Dragon UK and anyone else who might be in the chat. Also, shout out to A Maple Mystery, who is developing the Crimson Diamond, which is a EGA an EGA text parser game made in AGS, reminiscent of the Colonel's Bequest, and she does a stream every week called Crimson Tuesday. Well, it's not really called Crimson Tuesday. It's unofficially called Crimson Tuesday, but she streams development of the Crimson Diamond every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's a good time, so check it out. Also, hello to Incog Hero. I was catching up on Sunday's stream and missed the start of the current one. It always makes me happy to know that people are watching the VODs, especially after I export them to YouTube. And hello, Pixie Cow. I'm guessing that my bot finally got its act together and announced the Devstream. Or maybe not. No, it still hasn't, which is weird. I wonder if it has anything to do with updating OBS, because there was a thing, someone in my Discord said that apparently there was some API thing with Twitch, and if you didn't have the latest version of OBS, you couldn't stream. I don't know. Maybe the bot is affected too. But yeah, hi Pixie Cow and hello Deluxe Tux. Good afternoon. By the way, if any of you were not here on the Sunday stream that I did, the bonus stream, I have added a few animated emotes to the chat. So you can have the doctor walking, you can have a horse walking or trotting, and you can have a little guy running too. So you can use those to your heart's content. I'm prepping my VODs for this week as we speak. I need to export my Sunday one to YouTube, actually. So there you go. You got little I know Tom aka Satnav Hello is happy about the doctor, so that's cool. I saw the announcement in the Wajda Discord, but yours still hasn't. Yeah, I had to do the manual announcement. I don't know what's up with the bot. Maybe I'll just have to do a manual announcement myself. Let me do that real quick. I mean, most everyone is here anyway, but whatever. Let's see. Let's go to Devstream Announcements and say, the bot is dumb. Everyone here, come to Wild West Wednesday. There we go. Yes, I do want to send it now. There you go. All right, let's see if we get a few more people in here. But I think I've announced in all of the relevant Discords. Okay, anyway, let's get started. I didn't know there were bots who could do that. Yeah, there's bots that you can set to, you can integrate them with OBS or with Twitch, I think, and they can send out an alert to your channel when you're streaming. Twitch just tells me when you go live. Yes, hello Between the Borders. Yeah, if you follow me, by the way, thank you for the follow, Mr. Albert Wesker, if you're still here. You followed earlier. Yes, so if you follow me, you get an email alert saying that I'm live. But for anyone who doesn't check their email regularly, that's what the bot's for on Discord. Anyway, let me stop wasting time and get to the stream. So today I'm doing a background which I'm calling Gambler Shack. And this one's a little fun one, another fun one, because this is one of those backgrounds where the actual scenery can change based on what point in your journey you're in. So it can either take place in the desert scrub or in the alpine forest. So basically I need to get rid of some things here. Well, first of all, I'm going to get rid of the wagon here because the wagon's not going to be in this scene, as I thought it was going to be originally, so we can get rid of that for one. But I need to set up the scene first and then worry about the actual contents of the scene. Also, where's my brush and why is it so small? There it is. I hate it when the brush is anything below 4 pixels. It's like tiny and invisible. Anyway, I check my email like once a week, maybe. Right. If you have the phone app, it'll do a push notification eventually. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. But then there's also the people who rightfully turn off their people who turn off their notifications. So, I understand that. I don't know why I'm erasing this, because it doesn't really need to be erased. Okay, so let's rename this. Actually, let's not rename this. Go ahead and turn on my perspective grid here, and let's start off with the desert, because the desert's always easiest, because I can just copy and paste, as I've done for many, many, many times. So let's go ahead and just do this here, and the sky gradient, which is, let's get rid of all this. Sky gradient. I don't like that. I want it to be... No. I want it to be brighter on the bottom. There. That's better. Okay. So we got that. And basically I want it to be sandy. Or foresty. So let's do a new layer and call it forest background. And forest background will essentially be this. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can just duplicate layer, call it forest background. And the only change is that we make the ground brown. The forest floor. There. Okay. So that's really the only difference. So does the shack itself gamble? It must be good at it, since I can't imagine it has many other job offers. Ha 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 ha. No, the shack belongs to a gambler. As you can tell by this table that's set up with the word win on it, because, you know, that's the surefire way to convince people to come gamble at your establishment, is by setting up a table that says win on it. So I hear. It used to be a mansion, but it had a bad losing streak. That's right. That's right. Okay, so first of all, let's get these mountains in back here. And normally I'm kind of opposed to recycling. Actually, I'm really not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not opposed to recycling. But at this point, this is really the inconsequential part of the background, so I don't care that I'm using the same elements over and over again, because the point is, this is what is here, and the backgrounds have to be consistent, so I don't really care that it's the same. So scrub mountains. And anyway, I don't think many people are going to notice, so let me grab some clouds from... Actually, you know what? I'm going to make the sky a different gradient in the forest, because why not? I did it here, so let's do it there too. Just so it's slightly different. Because, I mean, the air in the desert is slightly different to the air in the forest, right? So, okay. It's a 3-shell company. Yes. Reminds me of the change my mind meme. Yeah, kind of, except sort of different. Sign making is more fun than gambling. Change my mind. Yes, exactly. Okay, so scrub mountains here. Let's get some clouds in. Not the ones from Desert Scrub. Let me open up another. Let's put in the clouds from the title screen, just to be different. Because we haven't seen these in a while. So we'll put them here. And we'll reverse them because it's more interesting if we do it that way. Okay, so we've got some nice clouds peeking out from behind the mountains. We'll call this Desert Clouds. Alright, close that up. No, I don't want to save my changes. Alright, and now for the background, the classic sand. The old sand trick, which is just get a darker color and then get a lighter color and go over it in patterns that looks like sand. With a big brush. And by big brush I mean the chalk brush, because that's a good brush for sand. Shape dynamics, other dynamics, make sure that's all well and good. Cool, cool. So I did a short write-up on color blindness and did some practical testing with a color wheel. It shrunk the color space more than I thought. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to make my things too much, but let's get the sketch layer in here to establish what exactly it is I'm doing here. So this will be my perspective grid. This will kind of be more sand, I guess, over this way. So let's set up the line here very briefly, just to know that this is what we're working with. This will be a desert bush and some sort of alpine plant, dependent on, of course, where you are. But I'll save that as a separate object, so I don't have to worry about walk behinds. Anyway, how is everyone doing? I hope everyone had a nice weekend and has had a nice week and is doing all right in these weird times we're going through. And enjoying work if you're at work, or lunch if you're at lunch. You won't complain. Hail, friend Heater, getting your exercise. Yes, yes it is. The weather is pretty shit here at the moment. Wet and gusty. Good time to be indoors. Definitely. Indoors and watching a stream. With a nice cup of tea and staring out your window. Or my window. The kids need to get out for more exercise, though. That's fair. It's easy to be sedentary, especially in bad weather. I like the win. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Get Celius. Also, hello. I finally played and completed Guard Duty. Nice. As I've mentioned, I think that's the last indie point-and-click adventure game that I played. And I played it on PlayStation 4. It was good. I liked it. It was very cute. And it was cool to see how he put together the medieval and the cyberpunk future stuff. It was an interesting juxtaposition, to use a fancy art term. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm gonna refine this a little bit more because right now it's looking a little blobby, and I want it to look not so blobby, a little bit more like that, I guess. Although it's a little bit more blobby than usual, actually. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and define this path here. I generally like to define paths with light colors. Say, hey, look, you can walk here. This is the walkable area because it's light for some reason, and the dark area is where you can't walk. It's a subtle little indicator because it's usually in shadow. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it. Yes, now I need something else to play. Well, you're lucky because there's no shortage of indie point-and-click adventures out there to play. So let's go ahead and add a noise filter here, just to make it look sandy. Also, this is not... Whoa. That's usually about... Yeah, that's usually about how I do it. So I do this sort of artificial dither thing to make sand and ground look sandy, but it's subtle enough that no one ever really... I don't think anyone ever really notices, but it's there. So, there's that. I have loads of games that just need to decide. Yeah, that's the problem, is having too much choice paralysis. That's the word for it. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so let me get rid of this and this, because that's kind of the path there. And this too, because I know that this is going to be here. And also this. That's for later. Alright, so let me go ahead and do this foliage here. Yeah, this. But this I'm going to skew it a little bit because it's going to be going in perspective, so. Oops. Let's see how this looks. I don't know that I trust Photoshop's perspective tool necessarily, but it's worth a try. Let's see, I want it to be this way. No, I don't want it to be that way. I want it to stay the same on the top, but also, well, I guess not really if it's coming from this way. I mean, I also don't want it to look like a flat wall, so you know what? I'm not going to do that. Don't apply. Just make it real small. Like, really small. Like, super far away small. Okay. This is the second best trick, I know. Really, really small. Okay. And then duplicate it over here so that it still shows up back there somehow. Or at least part of it does. Okay, let's get this down here in front of the mountains behind the sketch layer. Okay. I've actually had devs who shall remain nameless telling me we should stop doing point and click and do something with less development time. Really? That's okay. How's it hanging? Hey, Chris Gwyn01. Okay. Why would you do that? I mean, you can do point and clicks in short amounts of time. It's just, you know, all based on project size. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to manually fix this and, well, not fix it, but I'm going to manually complete it and draw it in perspective. Oops. So basically I'm just gonna do this again, but you know what? I'm gonna copy and paste it again. Just reverse it. Ack. Also make sure that this is there. Okay, so that's fine, but I want it to end here, so it's more or less on the perspective grid. But then I also want to make it so that it's not obviously a mirror, so we gotta fix that. Ever thought about making a real-life Rosewater trek across the west, retracing the steps? Maybe. I mean, I've thought about. I mean, I've definitely put in. I've searched in Google how long it would take to drive from where Rosewater would be geographically to San Francisco, and that's kind of how I determined how long it would take. Of course, you know. That's now with highways and fast cars. So I took into account the fact that it would take a lot longer before paved roads and with not cars. George R.R. Martin, start writing picture books. It's less development time. I think it was personal frustration from making a bunch of point and clicks and being disappointed by the amount of work as opposed to games with more emergent gameplay. Okay. Was this person a point and click developer? Or were these people point and click developers? Or were they just like, oh, well, we do better mechanic games, so we have better indications of what to tell you, sort of deal. There are well-known point-and-click devs who have made fewer than you. Oh. Wait, a point-and-click adventure developer was discouraging you from making a point-and-click because they said it was less development time? Or it was too much development time? That seems weird, but okay. I mean, my philosophy is I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. You know, do what works for you. If you want to make a point and click, go for it. Roguelikes and such always seem like such a good idea, but I don't end up getting that much mileage out of many of them. Right. There's an awesome site where you can estimate how to get between 2 points in the Roman Empire and how long it would take. Well, that's cool. Is there anything like that for the US? Like, estimating the Oregon Trail or something? Like how long it would take you to get from... Because that's basically what this is. And can I say that Twitter's a great place to meet people so long as you don't use it for personal gibberish? Yeah, I agree. I mainly use Twitter for self-promotion and marketing. Like, I'll post personal things every now and then, but not super personal things, because obviously I like to keep my personal life personal and not go posting about it on the internet. Oh, sorry, Chris Gwynn. Hope your internet gets better. Oh look, my bot finally announced literally 1 minute after I did. Guess I'll delete my message. Also, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Discord, Incog Hero. So I've been doing mainly dialogue writing, with the exception of all of last week, which I spent playtesting and fixing stuff, which if you were at last week's Wild West Wednesday, you would have seen me fixing all the bugs and issues and things that came up from playtesting. So last week was a break from writing, but I've gotten back into it this week. And it's funny because it's infiltrated my subconscious, because last night I had a dream. It was a very strange dream. But I had a very strange dream in which I was in my house, like my house back in Miami, in my old room. And for some reason, there was... oh wow, that's a lot of text. Let me finish telling you my dream and then I'll read your thing. But I had a dream that there was, for some reason, one of the voice actors who I want to cast as one of the characters in Rosewater was there. And I was like, hey, listen, would you be interested in being in this game as this character? And I showed him the box. And I was trying to show him the character I wanted him to play on the box, but the box was all weird. And like I had put like 4 stars over his face. And then I was like, actually, he doesn't show all of the screenshots that are on this box. He's covered up it. How strange. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, great. And I got his name wrong, and it was very bizarre. So that was a fun dream. Anyway, let's see. Somewhere between the extremes is a sweet spot. Like Doom is all combat based, which is a good emergent style. Oblivion was a little more story. Quest for Glory was basically point and click with RPG elements that extended things pretty well. I don't know. It's not like I want to just make 1942 clones, but sometimes it's a great break to do something different. Yeah, that's fair. And you had a dream that you were in your old room at your old house. Must be sunspots. Maybe. Yeah, I'm like, why would this be happening at my house? Like, why would I don't know this person. I've never met this person. Why would they be at my house? So, that was very bizarre. Anyway. So, I was also going to say that, I mean, I know I've probably talked about this a lot, but as far as, like, innovations in point and clicks, like, I don't know, I feel like there's this stigma with point and click adventure as a genre where it's like, oh, well, it's always going to be this, and it's always going to be this formula, and it's always going to be this particular style of gameplay. And yeah, there's not that much wiggle room, but there's also like so much opportunity to just do something. Like, not every point and click adventure has to be the same because it's a point and click adventure. It's like not every first person shooter is the same just because it's a first person shooter. Like you say, Doom is very different to Duke Nukem 3D or Quake or whatever, because they have different settings, they have different stories, they have different atmospheres. Like, the mechanics are the same, sure, like you shoot things, but like No One Lives Forever is a very different game to Doom. So yeah, I feel it's unfair to be like, oh well, it's a point and click adventure, so it's obviously going to be exactly like every other point and click adventure ever made. So yeah, that's my soapbox. Also, I'm going to drink some water, because I've been talking. Okay, let's get rid of the perspective grid, and also make this a lot less perspective-y by adding a few more bushes and things. That's like saying we're all human, so we must be the same. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, even within point-and-click adventure games, like the way that the UI and everything is different. Like some games have a single-click interface, some games have a two-button interface, some games have a completely different, like, verb coin or something. So, I hope that wasn't what it sounded like my point was. I guess I don't know what my point was. No, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, I don't know. You said it's... I mean, sure, if you want to take a break from doing something different and do something different, sure. I guess my point is just... there's plenty of variety sticking to a genre. It doesn't necessarily mean you... I mean, if you want to take a break and do a completely different genre, absolutely. My point is just do what you want to do. You do you, as they say. I would never tell someone else, oh, you shouldn't do that. Unless they told me that they were making a Monkey Island clone and expected to get rich off of it, because then I would tell them, don't do that because you have unrealistic expectations. But within reason, if someone was, you know, I wouldn't tell someone, no, don't do that, that's a terrible idea. Unless, like I said, it was something where it was just like pure pandering nostalgia. Oh, Between the Borders has redeemed hydrate, so have points for something you already did. I'll do it again. These points are meaningless, they don't give me anything. I appreciate that. I think maybe the team was just too small for the scope we wanted. That's fair. And that's something that happens, of course. Over-scoping things is a very real problem. Okay, so let me make this a little less uniform here. The points inflation in this channel is worse than the real economy. I really should come up with some more interesting channel rewards. I watch streams where they come up with like specific ones to whatever game they're playing, and that's really crazy and amazing and fantastic. But I do not have the streamer imagination to come up with stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is, because this is already looking kind of hills, is I'm going to make them more hill-like here. Just do this. And accentuate the fact that these are, in fact, hills. Or at least elevated bits of sand. Run with this here. You say, okay, this is elevated, so you can't walk up here. Dunes, that's right, dunes. Is it overscoping if I add more tumbleweeds? No, but tumbleweeds are hard to draw. Some streamers have entire teams of artists, managers, producers, etc. It generally shows, but it's a real production. Oh yeah, I mean full-time streamers that make like thousands and thousands of dollars off of this, that you have to. You can't do that with just like a little kiddie show like this one. Which reminds me, if you'd like to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. Yeah, no, I don't care. I don't make my money off of this. I make my money off of what I'm creating on this stream. Let's go ahead and get rid of this too. Some more dunes. My favorite puzzle in Lone McLonegan was one where the player needed to talk to a character and tell him a bad joke. The awful punchline causes a tumbleweed to blow across the screen that you need to grab and use as kindling later on. That's cute. Which reminds me, Amazon Prime keeps showing me Dune in the ads, but the font just makes it look like Dunk, like it's about some guy called Duncan. Funny you say that. I've been slacking. I need to keep reading the series. I've sort of stalled out midway through Dune Messiah. I haven't come back to it. Okay, I think that's enough dunes for now. So let me put some plants on some of these because I also don't want it to just look like a bunch of bald dunes. Desert grass for your desert ass. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I've been working through Discworld since last January. I'm 25 books in now, but still have another 15 to go. Wait, Oh, last January. Okay, I was gonna say, since you've read 25 books in a month. But no, you've read 25. Still, 25 books in a year and a month is pretty impressive. It's like a book a well, yeah, a book a month, a book and a half a month or so. I'm a pretty slow reader. Although I do read, I mean, my book club, we usually read a book like not every month, but close to it. Okay, I think that'll do. Dune. Where the hell did this thing go? Where did the Photoshop window go? Oh boy. No. Here it is. How did you get over there? Jeez. Ridiculous. Okay, so. Alright, so that'll do for the scrub backdrop there. So this doesn't really matter here because that's just going to be like the background that they're coming from. So I want to worry about that later. Let me add a little bit more here, and then I can do the forest backdrop. That's fair. Alright, now it's forest time. So now we do the same thing, but with the forest. So let's get some mountains. Actually, I'll keep this. Oh, thank you, Umbar, for the follow. Go over here to my forest. Actually fit it on screen. Let's get the mountains. Nice alpine mountains back here, which are already described as such, so that's good. Let me color code this. It's so much easier when I color code. Color code my layers, I mean. So, layer properties, green for forest, and yellow for desert. Get rid of. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn the mountains the other way because I want them to. Well, no, you know what? They can be here. This is fine because I'm gonna have trees. I mean, I have trees here, but I'm gonna have trees covering up the back there. Oops. So, get rid of this. I've finished 17 books so far this year. In 2022, I usually aim for 75 to 100 per year. Jeez, I'm in awe of people who can read so fast, honestly. It's crazy to me. I mean, it's cool, but it's also crazy. Okay, so let's get some green here. And paint some green in the perspective grid. I have read approximately one book in 2022. I think. Or maybe we've read... How many books have we read? Yep, I have read one book so far in 2022. Some will be novellas. Well, fair enough. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and block this out. I do a bit of proofreading in my spare time. So you read for fun and then you proofread some more. That's a lot of reading. More power to you. Sometimes I read those 950-page thumpers and those can take me 4 months alone or more. Wow. Yeah, I've had Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell on my backlog for years. And I have not wanted to make the commitment to read that book. Because I know it's going to take me a long time. So, yeah. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay, there we go. Just want to make sure that when I do the walkable areas, it's not going to mess anything up because I did something wrong. Whoops. That seems pretty good so far. Okay. Okay. I had to really force myself to finish that book. I wasn't a fan. Okay then. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to attempt to do it. But I don't know if I'll be able to. We'll see. Alright. Also, let's make this green. Can't do anything with that. Okay, fine. Yeah, actually, let me open up Post Office too, because it's another one. Right. Yeah, so same thing here. I want to have like a little separator here from the ground. So we'll do that first. The 5 volumes of Mark Z. Danielewski's The Familiar was the hardest read I've had recently, maybe ever. There's 5 volumes? Jeez, I've only read House of Leaves, and that was a hard one. I love JS and Mr. M, but I can understand if it's hard work, I see. I really like Strange and Norrell. I read it back when it came out and revisited it maybe 2 years ago. You might enjoy it, it was popular. Yeah, so I've heard. After having kids, I don't have the mental space for something like that. Fair enough. Okay, so let me do what I did before with the other background and quickly do some lights and darks. Hey, a horse who can drive. It's Wild Wednesday. Yes, it is Wild Wednesday. So basically the same thing I did before, but here. First. License and registration, please. Yes, we've got 3 horses who can walk. I don't have any horses who can drive in my emotes, but I do have horses that walk. This is an adventure game. No one has ever registered. Did anybody ever actually register their shareware back in the day? I never did. Actually, wait. I didn't register, but I definitely bought Commander Keen 5 after playing episode 4 as shareware. I bought Commander Keen 5. Whoops. Very similar to this, but there's going to be a lot more grass on the floor here too, so it doesn't really matter if it's blobby or not. I can model horse poses if you need. That's alright, thanks. I've got plenty from YouTube already. Everyone here has forged their license via an improbable combination of objects. Ugh. Get a little bit more, crazy here. Oh, it's time to stand up, but no, it's not. Bother me again later, in an hour. Imagine a horse YouTuber. Hey guys, lol. I'm sure there's probably a horse VTuber out there. I discovered the horror of VTubers recently, and it's scary. Hello, Furroy. I've solved one of those puzzles where it's someone else's ID and my photo is stuck on with chewing gum. Chewing gum is the most powerful adhesive known to man in the adventure game universe. I also love how they encourage you to forge legal documents through some of the most dubious means necessary. It's like any serious organization would not accept a photo ID with chewing gum clearly, with a photo that's clearly pasted on the outside with chewing gum. That's like so stupid. VTube, just the infinite just phone thing in my... What? I don't know what that means. Oops. That was too close. More than maple syrup. The fake mustache disguise. Yes, Don't forget it. I wish more people would. I love that there was an adventure game recently that used it and just went like full out balls to the wall, unapologetic with how they did it. Because it was just like, oh my god, you've learned nothing, but this is kind of funny. Especially because it was in an otherwise serious game. I like when they make you do the most disgusting things imaginable. Okay. I don't, but alright. I was just struggling last night because I was trying to think of a better way. Like, I have this one puzzle on one of the paths in Act 3 of Rosewater where you need to get an item, but the blocking thing is that it's too expensive, so you have to figure out how to get money. And I like that, but at the same time I'm like, it seems kind of simple. I wish I could complicate it more. And then I'm like, well, maybe it could be that like someone else bought it, everything, all the entire supply of what you need. But then that's stupid because it's like you're telling me that the item you need has been like all of it is gone because one person bought the entire supply in an entire city. It's ridiculous. So it's very easy to fall into traps like that are really stupid. Unless it's toilet paper, it wouldn't be very plausible. In Infinite Jest, phones turned into video phones as tech advanced, but people didn't like how they looked, so they bought shit that made their avatars looked idealized. I see. Okay. In Dude, Where's My Beer, you need a wallet that is stuck in a bar's toilet. You get a rubber glove, but it's a red herring. The glove doesn't fit. The puzzle is to get drunk and then just grab it. Oh. Didn't that... Yeah, I feel like that game had an inhibitions meter, right? I feel like that's a clever mechanic. Although it's like it definitely creates a disconnect because like, you know, when you have a player that's like, I don't want to do that, like our old friend Brian Basco, who's like, I don't want to get my hands dirty to reach into this mud trough to get this wrench. And then the solution is to drop an object from the second story into the trough so that the mud splashes out, which is physically impossible and also really stupid. But it's all because he's like, I don't want to get my hands dirty. So... anytime an adventure game character protests because it's like, it's suck it up. You're an adventure game character. Do it. Do as I tell you. I think I don't want to is probably the worst thing, the worst response you could get from a game. And I'm sure I'm guilty of having used it in the past. I'm probably 100% certain I have. But I've tried to avoid it like the plague now. I like that adventure game voice. Oh, that's not my adventure game voice. That's specifically my Brian Basco voice. Some things can only be done while sober, like manipulating objects, but the protagonist can only talk to other people while tipsy. Also, being tipsy lets you understand other languages. That's cute. Bartleby, the adventure game protagonist. I like the idea of, like, you know, you're too shy to talk to people unless you get drunk. That's amusing. And relatable content, as the kids used to say. I don't know if they say that anymore. I saw on Reddit the other day someone posted asking for recs of games just like Runaway 2, and I wasn't sure if it was a troll or not. I'm sure that game has its fans. I wouldn't doubt that it has its fans. That's an interesting way to spell my name. You have good people skills, sober or not. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Horse Who Can Drive. I appreciate that. I feel like my people skills have vastly deteriorated throughout the course of the pandemic. I find I really don't... I'm not good at making small talk anymore. But I don't know if it's one of those things that you get back or what, but I definitely do not. That being said, I also don't really like drinking in social situations anymore. Yes, that's everyone. Everyone has anxiety now. It sucks. I have to smoke so much weed to get people out of their shell. Wait, you have to smoke weed to get people out of their shell, or you have to give people weed to get them out of their shells? Hi, I'm here. I'm super dumb. You can talk to me. Did you accidentally hit caps lock, or are you just very passionate about this right now? Yes, the dumber I am, the more comfy people are. Really? I don't know. See, I'm very passionate. Here's the thing, and I'll tell you why so I used to be very much about like going, like if I went to GDC or something and I'd be around, people I admired, like if I'd be at a party and like say, Dave Grossman was there or something, I'd be like, oh my God, I really admire this person's work. I'm too shy to talk to them. I'm going to drink and I'm going to get drunk so that it's easier for me to be social and talk to them. And yeah, okay, fine. But then I would realize that like afterwards I was like, well, on one hand, I was drunk. So I, in my mind, was like perfectly, wonderfully navigating the conversation. But in reality, I was probably like, really obnoxious. And second of all, a lot of times I'd be like, well, I don't really remember exactly what we talked about. So then I was like, I need to work on this. And I want to like actively try and not have to rely on being socially lubricated to have meaningful conversations with people. Because then, what's the point? And I kind of feel the same way about... being on the opposite end of the spectrum, like talking to people who are on something. As Brooklynites, this problem is exacerbated because everyone here was like this already. It's about how people feel about the combo. Yeah. I mean, obviously, a horse who can drive, you do what you want to do and you do what you feel like you need to do. But I personally would prefer to talk to somebody who... I mean, and obviously there's different levels of functioning, under the influence of alcohol or drugs or whatever. But I would prefer to have a conversation with someone who is sober or a little tipsy or a little high or whatever than like full out gone, because then I feel like, well, I'll remember the conversation, but will you? Because I've had that experience where I've like, talked to people and they're drunk or whatever, and then I'm like, oh yeah, remember we talked about that? And they're like, no. And then it's just like a one-sided thing, and then it feels worse because it's like, oh, I thought we were really connecting, but I guess not, because you were just out of it. Anyway. I'm stone cold sober right now. Wednesday smash tournament. You're in luck. I've destroyed my tolerance. I don't even fade anymore. Well, that's fair. I mean, I always enjoy talking to you. Full-on drunks are only fun if you are as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, like, even mixing is annoying. Like, if you have some people who are drunk and some people who are high, that's even worse because... Or anything else. Because it's like some people are up, some people are down, and it just does not mix well. Anyway, let's not get too into those weeds. No pun intended. Ha ha ha. I drink about 1 to 2 times a year anymore. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, aside from like the occasional wine with dinner, like I don't do the social drinking thing anymore either because I don't go out anymore. Like at least like once a month I would go to like the indie dev social thing here, but that hasn't happened for a long time. So I haven't been going and drinking there. Gonna start saying getting into the indica. Getting into the indica. What does that mean? Oh, getting into the right, gotcha. I'm a complete lightweight, so I tend not to drink. Yeah, I don't have any tolerance anymore. I'm like gone after a beer and a half now, even though I don't drink beer. Maybe pluralize, getting into the indicas. I see. I'm a very touchy-feely drunk. I'm also a very happy drunk. When I get really drunk, I become a shepherd. I just want to make sure that everyone's having a good time, and I'm always like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, are you all right?" And it gets to the point of like really obnoxious. So I try not to get that. I have not gotten that drunk in a really long time, and I would like to keep it that way. So, yeah, same. I'm very, very much the same. Dixie cow. Okay. Let's see how this is going. It's going. We gotta refine it more so it's not quite so blob-like, but it's coming along. More straight lines. Your arc bad meeting. Well, enjoy. Also guilty. Well, it's good. I'm glad that we don't have any angry drunks among us. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Although I feel like it's a lot easier to inadvertently be an asshole when you're drunk. Or worse, I'll start calling friends I haven't talked to in ages to tell. Aw, that's sweet. I do that sometimes. Or I've done that sometimes. I mean, I'll tell you this, the reason that Ben Chandler and I are friends, the main reason we're friends, well, not the main reason, but the reason we developed a friendship was because I would come home in my 20s from a night out, and I was drunk, and I didn't want to go to bed, and I would get on Skype, and he'd be the only person online because, you know, time zones and everything. He was exactly 12 hours, or is still 12 hours difference from me, so I would call him up and talk to him, and that's how our friendship came about. I'm spending a little too much time on this, but you know what? Quality over something else. Quantity? I don't know. I want it to look good is what I'm saying. Alright, so that's going to be more or less covered up, so let me just go ahead and do a quick thing here. Yeah, see, that's not going to matter too much. So just a few more of these. Quality is more important than speed. That's right. Also, hello, Dwarven Jester. Oh, sweet. Yes, it may be a mystery. Close that up. Right. So let me do that bit over here as well. Also, I put a chair here, but there's not gonna be a chair when I draw it. I don't think, anyway. I don't plan on having a chair there. But plans change, as we all know. Quality, speed, cost. Pick any two. I'll take quality and costs, I guess. Also, let me make sure that this is... Yeah, good things take time. I mean, I think that one of the things... excuse me. One of the luxuries, if you want to call it a luxury, that I have with this game is that I'm not like, oh my god, I have to get this game out because I'll die of brokenness if I don't. Which was the case with Lamplight City, so it's good not to, you know, to work on this. I mean, obviously I want to get this game out, but it's also nice to be able to have more control over taking my time with it rather than being like, oh god, it needs to come out or else I'm going to starve. Hello, Ambrosine Zero. Welcome. For me, game, I think I only pick quality. Well, I think that's probably the more important one. The most important one. Feroy has redeemed show off a big box game. Alright, Feroy. Would you like a Sierra box, a LucasArts box, other, or do you have a specific request? Excuse me. Sierra sounds fun. Okay. Alright, let me save real quick. And let's go get a Sierra box. And I know exactly which one. Because I was looking at my shelf the other day and I thought, you know what, if someone shows off, someone redeems show off a big box, I think I'll show off this one. Because I have a story. So here we have Space Quest 6, Roger Wilco in the Spinal Frontier. The funniest Space Quest ever from the series that has sold over 1 million copies. So we have the background here, which has some interesting screenshots that don't really show much aside from like a cutscene of a weird 3D spaceship, a close-up of Fester Blatz, and some stuff. Looks in nice shape. Yeah, it's pretty much new-ish. This is everyone's favorite Space Quest. Is it? I don't think it's that bad. I like it better than Space Quest 2. But you know how I feel about Space Quest 2. Anyway, this one I feel gets a bad rap because of quick and crappy production product management issues. So this one comes in, this is the mid 90s Sierra cardboard box that comes inside. That most of them all have this flap thing. So everything comes inside here. So we've got 3 things inside this weird cardboard box. One is sanitation hotspot, which is the copy protection. Why does the CD-ROM game have a copy protection? Well, that's an excellent question. And that is also because, as we know, or as we may not know, the hints for this particular puzzle here, the homing beacon puzzle, were supposed to be in the game, but at the last minute were cut, and so they had to throw them into the manual for copy protection. And also, there's a periodic table of the elements, which you also need for another puzzle, but I mean, you could just go to the periodic table for that, but anyway. So, oh look, worksheet for solving homing beacon puzzle, which I have actually used. So look, I besmirched this manual with my solutions for the puzzle. Anyway, there's also a pamphlet for the Imagination Network. The World of Imagination and all of this stuff. What's the monthly plans? Rate card, effective April 15th, 1995. 5 hours for $9.95, each additional hour $2.95. 10 hours for $19.95, each additional hour $2.75. 15 hours for $29.95, each additional hour $2.50. 25 hours for $49.95, each additional hour $2.25. And 50 hours for $99.95, with each additional hour costing $1.95. Hours included in monthly plans are good during evenings and weekends. All weekday time from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday is billed at $6 per hour. Plan hours not used in any given month do not carry over into the following month. Wow. That's pretty that's pretty strict. So, you also have the CD, obviously. This game only came on one CD. It's a nice design with a galaxy on it. And then, of course, you've got the manual inside. And basically, you've got pretty much everything in the Star Trek font. Actually, no, this is the Space Quest font. There's really nothing interesting in here aside from just this stuff. Credits. Voice auditions by Taylor Korobo. Voice talent. Documentation written by Leslie S. Balfour. Oh, nice. Roger Wilco was William Hall. Never heard of him before. Hey, Charles Martinet was in this game. I didn't know that. He was Pa Conshohocken and Ray Trace and Pitui. Interesting. So that means that the guy, he was also in Police Quest 4. That's hilarious. So the voice of Mario was the old man voice on Polysorbate. How about that? Anyway, enough nostalgia. Let's put all this back, and then I'll tell you my story. So, when I bought this game... Yes. So when I bought this game, I was excited because I was like, oh boy, another Space Quest game, because I liked all the Space Quest games. And when I went to install it, I couldn't run it. And I had to return it. And the reason that I couldn't run it... The reason that I couldn't run it was because it requires 8 megabytes of RAM. And at the time, I had a 486 with 4 megabytes of RAM. And I could not run this game because it refused to run. Because I did not have 8 megabytes of RAM. And that nowadays is like ridiculous. But that's what happened. So then I went back afterwards when I got 8 megabytes of RAM. And I bought it again. So there you go. So that's Space Quest 6. And then that got me looking at all the system requirements for all the other Sierra games, and they're like, 640K of RAM, and it's really funny. Also, hello Aviv David SD. I am well. I hope you are doing well as well. So, let's get back to this. Okay. Okay. Just doing some forest ground texture. And then I'll go ahead and noise it up. Actually, I'll go ahead and noise it up now. I want to do it like here. Worry about the grass later. There. Actually, you know what? Let's just add the noise here. Anywhere below this. There we go. All right, add noise filter there. Good. Cool. All right, there's that. So, yeah, so I guess I got to do the grass now, huh? Which is fine. It's just a matter of different colors in the background. I've always sort of cringed at doing grass because grass is hard, but practice makes perfect and all that stuff. Better than Saturday anyway because I stopped reading the news about Eastern Europe. Ah yes, the good news is I have the feeling the pandemic is about to reach its end sooner than I thought. Don't want to jinx it. Really? Do you know something I don't? Because at least here it feels like it's not going to be over for a while. Actually, that reminds me. I wanted to check what the positive rate here was. Oh, it's going up again. Surprise. Now we have the real reason for why it's Western, less grass. Yeah, Lamplight City did not have much grass either, no. But yeah, grass is hard to do and look good, I've always felt. Because unless you draw like every single individual blade, it's really not gonna look great. I've never found a real trick to drawing grass anyway. Countries in Europe are starting to lay off restrictions they had since April 20. Well, sure, but just because they're laying restrictions doesn't mean that it's necessarily because... Well, I don't want to get into it. But, yeah, anyway. Yeah, exactly, Incog Hero. Exactly. Restrictions ending are not the same thing as the pandemic ending. I mean, unless the World Health Organization says, hey, we're officially declaring that COVID-19 is no longer a pandemic, then, yeah. The good news here is that I do not have a lot of grass to draw, or at least I don't have much of a grassy area to draw, and I'm going to cover a whole bunch of it with other plants and trees and stuff, so I don't have to focus too much on this. So let's get this in perspective. People in the UK seem to think it's over, yeah. Did they? I haven't really been paying attention to what they've been saying, but okay. I just hope they're not jumping the gun. Well, I've been self-isolating just because I haven't felt like going anywhere. But I am starting to get a little stir-crazy. But I am going away for a couple of days next week, so actually, it's a good time to say I will not be streaming next week because I'll be getting back Wednesday, but I don't think I'll be getting back before 1 o'clock, so I don't want to have to worry about, oh no, I'm gonna be late, so I'm just gonna say no stream next week. No more testing either, really. Well, that's worrying. Going anywhere new? Somewhere nice? Well, it's my partner and I's anniversary, so we're just renting an Airbnb in upstate New York. Just for a couple of nights. Just to get out of the city. And there's no Wi-Fi, so that'll be nice. No Wi-Fi and no cell service inside the house, so it'll either be nice or we're gonna get murdered. So there's that. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be nice. No horse riding, but it'll be nice. Maybe some hiking. We'll see. I guess I should make this a little smaller. Damn it, now I have really stupid songs stuck in my head. Oh well. Doesn't quite look like grass yet, but it's getting there, I guess. At least there's texture. But I just want to get the darks in first and then go with the highlights and then try and fake it so it looks like grass after that. Okay, so we zoom in a lot. Whoa, that's too much. So back here it's a little easier to get away with because it's far away, so with just like the 1 pixel thing, you can do a bunch of highlights and it'll look grassy. Well, I also want to do it on the perspective line. Let's go this way. Okay, so now let's slightly bigger brush. Where did my thing go here? I meant to get rid of the perspective layer, not the sketch layer. There. It's grass? I thought it was a river at first. No, don't be embarrassed. That just goes to show you I've never liked drawing grass because I'm not good at it. It's my one of my weaknesses. So I'm gonna just, instead of making like the individual blades again for all of this, I'm gonna go ahead and just do some highlights over here and say, okay, well, there's some grass here and some over here, but it's not all. Some is this way. Oh, thank you, Devorian Games. These are very much copy and pasted trees from another background that I just copy and pasted. They will be covered by other trees. A little bit more of this here. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to, since this is the edge here, I want to do something like this where it's like there's bushes and stuff on the edge and plants and stuff. So really this grass doesn't really need to be too detailed, but whatever. Yeah, right, okay. Also, I need some clouds. Do I have any clouds here? I guess not. Excuse me. Do I have mountain clouds? No. No, I don't. I guess there's no clouds in the alpine area. Just because there's already other things. Yeah, my sketch layer is still here. So I want to add some trees and stuff back there because I want it to be foresty. Let's see if I can just get away with recycling some of this here. Forest foliage. Maybe I can do this, but a lot smaller. Let's see what this looks like if I pull this over here. Okay, there's something. So I don't want this tree here. And I don't necessarily want that tree, but I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Let's say, okay, well this forest foliage is over here. I don't want to make any tangents with my mountains. So we'll just put this over here. Oh hey stranger, long time no see. Hello C. Dutson. Well, I've been streaming. Where have you been? I've been here every Wednesday for weeks. You can only watch. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see here. So let's see if I can fake this a little better. Okay, yeah, I can do this if I put this behind here, and then let's make this a little smaller too, actually. Just completely kill the the trees in the background. But no, you know what? No, let's not do that. Don't apply. Get rid of it. Don't want that there. Let me build on this and actually make it more interesting looking. Forests are another point of weakness for me because it's... I don't want to duplicate that layer either. Because getting a nice natural looking forest is pretty tough. So there's that, but I don't want to overdo this here, or underdo this as I Anyway, schedules overlap, hard decisions can be made, etc. Yes, of course. I didn't mean to shame you or anything. You don't have to make excuses. It's fine. It's good to have you here. All right, so I'm gonna do this as just like bushes here. And that's where they end. We'll have a nice little thing there. There we go. Bob Ross would be jealous of this landscape. I don't know about that. I started playing Strangeland last night. That's an exercise in well-executed discomfort. Okay. I haven't played it myself. But I mean, from what I saw of it, it definitely looked like it was kind of heavy. Hint, it doesn't get any less discomforting. It's not a happy... No, it doesn't look like it's a happy adventure game. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to do some more bushes over here. And just do that. Okay, and then do the slightly lighter. But it definitely gives me Monkey Island vibes. There's actually one bit that is just like Monkey Island. Oh, really? Not a happy adventure game, so 12 Monkeys Island. If you're interested in photo reference of similar areas, Google Street View of Ireland in the Wicklow Hills area looks quite a bit like this. Okay. My main go-to reference for forests, which is incredibly presumptuous of me, is an artist called Ivan Shishkin, who plays, I was looking at plays, who draws or paints forests amazingly. Trees and foliage. I have a whole trees and foliage folder here. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. This is incredible stuff. And this is kind of what I want to go for, but I also realize that it's very hard to do this. So actually, well, I guess I can kind of do this. If I do like a wall of green and then a bunch of just dark shapes and then a bunch of lighter shapes closer and more forward. But yeah, getting foliage like this is hard. Can I help you with your noise gate in OBS? Am I peaking? I could turn this down. Hold on. I want my advanced audio properties. Here we go. There. Let me turn it down 2 decibels. Well, it's always gonna... Not peaking, the noise floor is really high. Oh, okay. Well, tell me what I have to do. In Strangeland, there are some puzzles that have alternate solutions, but I didn't know that, and I saw a stream where I was like, haha, that's wrong. Oh wait, holy fuck, that worked. Well, that's kind of the designer's dream, right? Like, you know, sometimes you can advertise puzzles having multiple solutions. Other times you don't, and then you let players discover it, and then you get happy that they freak out, that they realize that there was something they didn't discover. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this. On your audio input capture, audio mixer, right click, filters, here we go. And then press noise gate, plus noise gate. Okay, how's that? Any better? Now we want to fine tune. Okay, so let's fine tune. No difference. Okay. You have to raise the floor because it's not closing. Alright, so what do we do? Right now the closed threshold is negative 32 decibels and the open threshold is negative 26 decibels. The attack time is 25. Lower the closed threshold. So let's put it down to negative 45. Okay. Anything now? Sorry, raise the closed threshold. Alright, let's raise it up to negative 15 decibels. Is that any better? Keep going. Alright. No difference. Alright, I'm raising it up to 0. Anything there? I'm going to continue. Keep going. I can't go any higher than 0. At least not on this bar. I guess I can set it manually. Let's do 11. Nope. I can't go any higher than 0. It might be the open threshold that needs to be set first. Try raising open. Okay, open is now negative 2 decibels. Try reversing the polarity. Yes, just jiggle the handle a little bit. Should I change the attack time, the hold time, or the release time? Try to put close back to negative 32. Okay. Close is now back at negative 32. Open is negative 2. Time controls, no need to touch. Okay. I wish there was visual monitoring on this. I do too. But alas. I mean, I can move my window over here. So, yeah. Negative 32 and negative 2. That's what we've got. Does it apply when I do this? No? I don't know. Wait, what just happened? Oh, wait! Hold on. I was putting the filter on my desktop audio, not on my microphone audio, for some stupid reason. Okay, let's do this. Alright, noise gate. Now, let's put this negative Okay, that... Get back to where it started. Alright. I don't remember. False. Negative 32, 26. Alright, so now what? Lower the close threshold by 10. Alright, now 42. Let's cut release time to 75. 75 milliseconds. Now we don't know. But okay. Hold time 400. Oh, cutting me off. Is it still cutting me off? Mary had a little lamb. Let's lower close threshold by a few decibels. 5. Am I coming through? Oh. It's still cutting me off. Do a soliloquy. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the sling arrows of something or other, or not. Then cutting off a little lower close threshold. Let's lower it to 55. Now I am speaking. Now is the winter of our discontent. Aggressive on the... 7. Lower the open okay. Lower that down to 32. And let's raise the close to 60. I am now speaking, and hopefully I am not being cut off. It doesn't look like I'm being cut off. Mary had a little lamb, some peas, and new potatoes. I think it's not cutting off now, so let's be something that rhymes with potatoes. Sounds pretty good to me. Alright, well. Oh, you can actually hear the chilled cow now. Well, I also turned it down. My mic slightly by 2 decibels, so it's maybe... Anyway. We'll see how it works when the comes back on. Let me turn this up. Better. Maybe put release back to 150 milliseconds. Okay. $150 milliseconds now. And could extend hold a little too. Sorry, this is hard remotely. Yeah, well, sure. Extend hold. Let's put it to 500 milliseconds. How about now? Here I am talking again. I appreciate that you were into this. Well, I'm no audiophile, but I do like things to sound good. I appreciate your helping me out with this. Okay, good. Well, good. Well, now that that's happened, I'm gonna call it a stream, because it's after 3 o'clock and I need to have lunch. So thank you all for coming to my stream. No! What, do you want to wait until the heater comes back on? It might not come back on for a while. No, listen. To the before and after. You will poop your pants. Okay. Well, in order to do that, I have to stop streaming. And then watch the VOD. So that I can know. And besides, I don't want to poop my pants on stream. That would be terrible. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I'll see you not next week. I will not be here next week for Wild West Wednesday. The week after. So I'll see you in March. On March 2nd. So thank you all again for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye!